The Rungs of Disclosure, in my opinion, might be the most important book I've ever written. And of course, every author always says, well, the newest book is the most important one. But I really mean that, because in some ways it's a culmination of decades and decades of research. And you go back 30, 40 years, and even talking about UFOs, UAPs was the stuff of conspiracy theorists and tinfoil wearing hat people, and eyes would roll and people would step back at markets when you would tell them, yeah, I'm working on a book on UFOs. Whoa. And so it was taboo. But now our government, the United States government, has declared that the phenomenon is real. And the first rung of the ladder of disclosure, the first rung of disclosure was in 2017. This is after decades of deliberate obfuscation. And of course, if I can just hold this up, this goes back to the Roswell event.
Oh, yes.
1947. You remember it well.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
I remember it, and I remember the stir that it caused. I was a kid. I was a teenager. And when Roswell happened, all of my relatives, I'll never forget that they gathered and discussed this, and they all had, what do you think it could mean? This changes everything. And in fact, it did.
It did.
But not as fast as
No, not so fast. This was printed in July 8th, 1947. And you can see it right there. RAAF captures flying saucer on ranch. We have 2 films on the Roswell phenomena, so I don't want to get too much bogged down on that. But here's the deal. The day later, on July 9th, General Ramey comes up with the weather balloon story. And this was the official story until, really, 2017. Tucker Carlson show, Commander David Fravor, former F-18 pilot. This is the first rung on the ladder of disclosure. And when Tucker Carlson asks, what, in your words, Commander David Fravor, what was this? What do you think this was? And Fravor looks right at the camera and says, whatever this was not from this earth.
As Christians, we believe that we're not dealing with creatures from another galaxy.
Correct.
Or another planet.
Correct.
We believe that the Bible has an explanation for this phenomenon. And well, it should. The Lord is not surprised by all this. Mm-hmm. And he knew that in the latter days, all of these things would pop to the surface and people would have a lot of questions. What we've got is a propaganda scenario in which humanity is being laid out a wonderful platter of, well, there really are people from other galaxies that have come here, and probably they're here to help us. And that whole phenomenon is very, very carefully orchestrated.
It's very orchestrated. It's very deliberate. And the information, and folks, you need to do your homework on this. In the 2024 Super Bowl game, and the Super Bowl halftime, you watch all these ads, and some of them are just, they're millions of dollars, first of all, to get on with the Super Bowl. And you can go on YouTube and watch it. Maybe Tyler will give you a little taste of it here. It's called Hello Down There. It's a 1:30 ad at the Super Bowl. And when I saw this, I just was absolutely astounded at what I was looking at. And so, basically, they're showing in 1:30 that whatever this is, it's a global event. Little diner in Texas, New York City, Paris, France, and Japan. And UFOs are overhead, but everyone is obsessed watching and looking at their cell phones and scrolling through, YouTube shorts and all this stuff. No one's looking up. And finally, one of the aliens with an elongated skull, that's another story, in one of the ships, presses a button, and everybody's cell phone, tablet, computer says, hello down there. And you see these gray aliens with the big heads and the black eyes. And they're all waving, friendly guys. Not buying it for a minute. And they look up, and above them in Texas, New York City, Paris, France, and Japan are mile-wide craft. This, in my opinion, is predictive programming. And at the very end of that ad, which by the way, the production quality through the roof, it's millions of dollars. It's 1:30 long at the Super Bowl. At the very end, you find out it's for Squarespace. And this is predictive programming. It's coming. And the biblical prophetic narrative, our Bibles tells us that in the latter days, before the second coming, before Jesus returns, there's going to be a global government and a global religion. This begs the question, how do you change that? How do you change the paradigms on this planet, which are completely entrenched? I mean, how do you change millions, if not billions, of Buddhists or Muslims or Christians? How do you bring and amalgamate all these different paradigms together under one umbrella? There's one answer to that, and that is the so-called extraterrestrial. These are not, to your point, these are not extraterrestrials from some faraway planet. These are interdimensional entities, i.e. fallen angels, who basically, according to Jacques Vallée, who are messengers of deception. And when they show up, I love the props I brought along with me. When they show up in mile-wide craft, this is the game changer. This is the game changer. And that hello down there ad from the Super Bowl is predictive programming. Gary, we're close. It's coming. So this is, let's have John Adam, our producer here, put up game one. This is from a game trail camera. It's in an isolated area somewhere in the wilds of Minnesota. These people have got about 2.5 acres on their property, and we'll get into this. I've never seen anything quite like it. I think it's extremely interesting. So this is during the daytime. Here's the game trail. You can see behind it, there's like a stove. The stove is blowing smoke out of it, and nothing unusual about that. So this is what, and these folks will remain anonymous. Dear Mr. Marzulli, first of all, thank you for everything you are doing to educate people on the Bible's answer to the supernatural events that are occurring. And thank you for providing a platform for others to share their experiences. On October 4th, my husband and I began hosting a class in our home addressing the Bible's answer to the alien narrative. A few days later, this entity showed up on our game trail camera. I believe it appeared to intimidate us. What do you think? The images were taken within 10 seconds of each other. God bless you. I am praying for you. We'll leave them anonymous. They don't wish to be known. So this is game trail 3. Take a look at that. That's game 3. And we can see directly over the stove, there's this flash of light. Something appears like it's materializing. Now, let's go to the natural explanation first. A lens flare? I don't think so. Look at if you go to game trail 4, John Adam, you can see there are figures standing next to the stove. And go back to game trail 3, and there's that burst of light, and next to it we see one of the figures which has been completely illuminated. Now this is where it gets, and by the way, you can look at the temperature up on top, it's 33 degrees. So now let's go to game trail 5. And this is where it gets incredibly interesting. We see something that is swirling, that the image is all over the map. It's almost like something, now granted, this is complete conjecture on my part, but it looks to me as if something is coming through, is about to manifest here. And you get this image, it's swirling, it's distorted. There's light images all the way around it. And this is where it goes off the rails, in my opinion. And go to game trail number 6. And here we have, it's 46 degrees in this area. Here we've got this figure directly in front of the game trail. Take a look at it. Look at it very closely. You can see that it's looking, first of all, it's looking directly at the game trail. It's not being caught unawares. It knows exactly where it's manifesting. And this, of course, happened within 10 seconds of the game trail camera. Look at the face, look at the way it's dressed. You can see it's wearing some sort of a low-cut blouse, shirt, tunic, I don't know what it is. I asked the woman who property this was, and I said, describe this outfit. And she says, these are called bell sleeves. I didn't know that. But look at around the shoulder, the way this thing puffs out here, low cut around the neck. And it's very androgynous looking. When I'm looking at this, I don't know whether it's male or female. It's very androgynous looking, but it's looking directly at the camera. That's game trail number 6. Let's go to game trail number 7. And here we've got a close-up of the face. And now I get it, there is some distortion here because of the camera. I'm blowing it up, but the eyes aren't right. Take a look at the eyes. They are they're like slits, and they're long and narrow. Check where the ear is, how it's pointed. Again, the entity is looking directly at the camera. The head is turned. It's extremely deliberate. And then finally we go to game trail camera number 8. And we've got a big close-up on the face, and there you can see that the eyes and the ear is pointed. We see the eyes are just these like narrow slits. They don't look human to me. Maybe I'm reading into it. If any of you want to comment on this, please shoot me an email or go to the comment section in this video. I think what we are looking at, in my opinion, is a tall white. Now that's completely conjecture. I've never seen anything like this before. I've seen other things, other pictures on YouTube, but they can't usually be vetted. This, on the other hand, can be vetted. We've got the game trail cameras. I mean, this is it. This is directly right from those bursts every 10 seconds. Something is there manifesting right in front of that camera and only a few feet away from the camera, and it's looking directly at the camera. Pointed ears, the eyes are long and narrow this way. It's very androgynous looking. It's 46 degrees. Okay, that's not that cold, but to be wearing what this entity is wearing, I find that really bizarre. Love to get your thoughts on it. I'm calling it a tall white. Not that I've ever seen a tall white, but by descriptions from people that apparently have encountered these entities, this is what I think we might be looking at. That's complete conjecture. Whatever this is bizarre. And as usual, we will now pray for a hedge of protection around all of you that are watching this video. Father, we come before you in the mighty name of Jesus, and we pray for protection, a ring of protection, a hedge of protection around each person that's watching this. No foul and unclean thing will enter into their homes or their minds or their dream states. We pray specifically for protection. Folks, the reason why I'm doing this is we've had feedback from people who watch this show, and then at night they have trouble sleeping, so we're taking care of that, and we suggest that you pray up also. By the way, as promised, this is a very special update on the game trail camera photographs that we had and we showed last week. This is an update. I'll get into that and so much more. There's one of the enhanced pictures of the Nord. First of all, thanks for joining me here today. This is from Patrick. Patrick sent this to us. Hello, LA. The photo is still a bit fuzzy, but much more clear. You can definitely see more of the ear, nose, and eyes. To me, it appears that the iris of the eyes zoom in is much larger than with humans. I will continue to work on it and share any new results. God bless you and your family abundantly. Your friend in Christ, Patrick. And so you can see this. John Adams got the JPEGs of all these, so while I'm blabbing here, he can zoom in on that and check it out. In my opinion, this is the real deal. I'm still sticking to my story. I want to read you. This is from R&L. They're the owners of the property. And this is the letter that I had them write without any coaching. I just said, I need a statement from you guys telling us that this was not a hoax and you didn't do this. So obviously, if they did, I have their names, addresses, phone numbers, and the whole deal. So they're not pulling my leg. So for the skeptic out there, you guys can believe whatever you want. I'm believing that this was real. Here's why. Dear LA, thank you for contacting us for clarification regarding the images we sent you. We hope this letter answers many of the questions people have raised. First and foremost, my husband and I are born-again Christians. My husband surrendered his life to Jesus about 40 years ago, and I did the same about 48 years ago. We love the Lord and try our best to follow him. Our hope and prayer is that everyone place their faith in Jesus before it's too late as time is running out. On Tuesday, October 4th, we began a class in our home regarding the Bible's answer to the alien narrative. About 2 weeks later, my husband retrieved his trail camera to see what animals he captured. It was at this time he discovered the images of the entity/entities. We have had no prior history of demonic manifestations in our lives. On Friday, October 7th, 3 days after our first class, the entity appeared on our camera. The first image taken at 7:11 p.m. shows our grandson looking at the fire in the barrel stove. The second image taken at 7:12 reveals some kind of explosion that lit up the entire area and appears to be incinerating our grandson, who was stooped down looking into the stove. Had there been an explosion, our grandson would have been severely burned. That was not the case, folks. That did not happen. That was a flash of light, but the grandson was okay. The third image, taken at 7:16 p.m., shows all is normal, and the light from the open door of the barrel stove is reflecting on our granddaughter and grandson. My husband is sitting outside of the camera's view. The three of them said no explosion occurred and witnessed nothing unusual, but the flash was caught on the game camera. On Saturday, October 8th, from 7:05 to 7:06 p.m., the swirling image morphed into the androgynous entity. This is not a neighbor, nor is it anyone we have ever seen before. The camera is attached to a tree in an open area about 150 to 180 feet from the back of our home. The camera takes picture as soon as it senses movement. If the movement continues, it will take a picture every 10 seconds until the movement stops. There are no frames between the swirling image to the androgynous image. Therefore, it had to manifest from one to the other in about 10 seconds. The camera only reads minutes, and that is why the timestamp goes from 7:05 to 7:06. For example, the swirling image showed up at 7:05-55, so 7 hours, 5 minutes, and 55 seconds, and appeared as the androgynous entity at 7 hours, 6 minutes, and 5 seconds. The position of the entity in front of the camera appears to be deliberate. And we said that last week. The entity knows that the camera is there, in my opinion. It's looking directly at the camera. We believe the entity appeared in order to intimidate us because of the subject matter of our class. And although that may be true, God is using these images, and yours truly, Mr. Marzulli, to reveal the reality that these are demons, not aliens. Ephesians 6:12, for our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in heavenly realms. Keep looking up. Jesus is coming. And that's from the owners of the property. So here we have, to the skeptic, I had the owners of the property go out and take a sheet and swirl it in front of the camera. This is what you get. And this is a tree branch in front of the camera. So we're basically taking what the skeptics are saying and going back again to the swirling bed sheet, and then going to the swirling branch. Another shot of a swirling bed sheet. And you notice the eye shine here from the game trail camera. Notice the eye shine, and we'll get into that in just a second. There's the eye shine. There's the swirling bed sheet. Notice the eye shine. That's very important. Another shot. Now the tree branch looks similar to it. No doubt about that. It looks similar to what that flash is, but certainly not exactly like it. And the fact is, you have to have someone inside the camera frame swirling the tree branch in order to create something that even remotely looks like it. That's fairly close to it. Notice the eye shine. And that's how big we think the entity might have been, just under 6 feet. So these are other examples of this. And this came from Patrick. Actually, no, this is from Scott Carpenter. And you can really see that the eyes are more horizontal than they are anything else that would appear to be human-like, in my opinion. But there's absolutely no eye shine. You can see this picture. There is no eye shine here at all. So what are we looking at? We have the statement from the folks who own the property. We tried to duplicate what we see on the camera, and that isn't happening, in my opinion. And then we've got the entity, which looks incredibly androgynous, and we get zero eye shine. We can see that there are some features. Look at the lower lobe of the ear, very strange. It seems to be pointed. The eyes are strange. Everything about it is very androgynous looking. So in my opinion, this is the real deal. What we are looking at is something that manifested on this property. And I find it very interesting that they were teaching, and I'll read this again, they were teaching a class, the Bible's answer to the alien narrative. And of course, they were using our resource material from that for that presentation, as well as other people's resource material. So something is going on. I'm sticking with the fact that this is real, 110% real, something manifested. I will be showing this at the Prophecy Watchers Conference, which is coming up.
This is an awesome clip that definitely boggles the mind. It's sort of ominous because it takes place during this sort of dark, raging thunderstorm and shows what appears to be a fast-moving, dark, unknown object blasting out of the storm clouds, captured by onlookers inside of a vehicle taking shelter during the storm as they drive down the street. Playing this over a few different times here at different, zoom levels and enhancements, this footage, it gives me the chills. It truly does. And, it takes a lot. After everything I've seen, all the pioneers that I've interviewed here on the channel, this piece of footage, it just kind of makes the hair on my, the back of my neck stand up a bit. We have this view driving on this dark, desolate road, typical, of a horror film. Lightning appearing, flashes in the distance, and then suddenly, and at a very high speed, something very dark that looks like a solid object without a doubt to me, coming into view out of the distance, almost kind of leaving what looks like a trail behind it, but that could just, be video blur because the object is moving so quickly, can leave trails, and just look at this thing blast by. This is some very creepy footage that was sent in by a viewer. You'll remember the many videos I've posted showing UFOs interacting with lightning storms, and whether they are siphoning energy from these storms or just like to hang out in them and freak people out. A lot of UFOs seem to lurk within these storms all over the world. Now, this next piece of footage, or rather... Michael, I don't know if that's your real name, but I get it. I've been doing this for 10 years now, and if you guys here watching or following me, you'll know it's not uncommon at all for people to want to remain anonymous. There are people out there, the majority of the people who send in footage, who want to keep their life private. They don't want to go on CNN. They don't want to be hounded for interviews. It's not about them. It can be quite frightening. And from looking at this footage, it kind of gave me chills watching it. And it's reminiscent of many other pieces of specifically infrared footage that I've featured here on Secure Team in the past. And I'll show you guys a few of those here in a minute. but let's go ahead and analyze this footage here, which again, it's captured in infrared, which we, with our naked eyes, are not able to see. You know, we can't see it. You have to have a special camera, which you can buy on Amazon, or, you know, you can make one yourself if you already have a DSLR camera or a camcorder. And so we have this shot here of the camera sort of panning. It looks like a cloudy day, as inferred from the email. And as stated in the email, it looks like this unknown and very mysterious looking object, very unnatural looking object, appears without the camera operator noticing it, at least not immediately. But then I think as it fades in and out, or fades in from behind the cloud cover, he notices it, he goes and he pans in on it, and that's where it starts to get interesting. Because as this thing is either standing still or is, in my opinion, slowly moving steadily through the clouds here, and you get the sense that the camera operator kind of freezes up here. You know, the camera operation becomes very still and focused. He zooms in on this object, and through some contrast and color correction, in my opinion, this unknown mystery thing above the skies of Michigan is without a doubt, on the face of it, triangular in shape. Now, I'm not saying this is a TR-3B, some sort of experiment. We don't know what it is. You know what I mean? So what we do know is that UFOs come in all shapes and sizes, you know, and the triangular shape is one of them. If you watch towards the end here, as the object is, you know, it appears to be getting further and further away from the cameraman, we see this very quick flash of almost, it looks to me like a little blip of blackness that flashes, and then the mystery triangle object is gone. And I'll loop it over here a few times, but from what I can see, and the thousands, probably at this point, I have reviewed tens of thousands of UFO sightings, both in infrared and not. A lot of these UFOs will jump, I guess you could say, jump out of existence, jump out of this dimension, I don't know. But a lot of these UFOs, in their wake, when they do disappear, will leave some sort of flash or plasma burst or something, and I believe that is what is happening here. At least that's what it looks like. while we're on the topic of infrared UFOs, the first piece of footage that comes to my mind that I wanted to show you guys, well, they come from a man by the name of Joey Franco. And he has his own YouTube channel, and I'll put that down below. But he came to me. We have a history. We recently got back in touch, and so if you want to see more footage of his, feel free to check out his YouTube channel down below. But one of his most popular videos, the one I broke on the channel way back in the day, is the one you're about to see here. So without any further talk, here is footage from Joey in his backyard. He's got his laser. You guys check this out.
Kind of animal here, guys, except an intelligent animal. Whoa, there it goes again. It's on the move. This was coming out of the east again. Now there's about 10 miles here. There's a little airfield. I'm not going to say the name of it because you'll know where I live, and I don't really want people to know exactly where I live because I've had death threats, believe it or not. There's some people on here that just, I don't know why. Well, it come back at me again. Man, I hope this thing don't shoot at me or nothing. It's coming right back at me, man. Isn't that amazing? Let's just wave to it and see what it does. I'm waving at it now. I'm waving at it. It's coming right back over the top of me. Okay, now it's on the... Oh. This thing was clipping along. If I wouldn't have shined the laser at it, it would have never came back. I've made contact. I'm waving my arms at it now. With my one arm. It's almost right over the top of me now. I hope it don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. I've made contact with this thing. It's right over my head now. It's right over my head. It must see me. I hope I don't get taken tonight, man. What the hell is it? I'm scared, I'll be honest with you. This is dealing with the unknown. Whoa, you see that? Don't go. Don't come back, please. Don't go away. Come here. Come back. Please don't go away. Come and meet me, man. Come and land in my front yard and talk to me. Talk to my friends. Come on. I'm not going to be scared. I am scared, but come on. Don't go away. This thing just went out, came from the east, was going west. I stopped it in the west. It came back north, and it's heading north now. It came back from the south. Now it's coming back, heading south again. I wish I could tell you what. Whoa, did you see that? It's gone, man. At 1,000 miles an hour, this thing booked. Oh, dudes, I got the best.
negatywnie ocenianą formą no, jakiegoś, ja wiem, polowania na czarownicę. To jest
A było takie polowanie? Czy była jakaś przesada? Mówi się często o sodalicium pianum jako takim czarnym ramieniu Piusa
No, można
X.
powiedzieć, że niestety tak. Niezależnie od intencji Piusa X i to można powiedzieć tak, że ostrze zwłaszcza tej takiej akcji gorliwych właśnie, to sodalicium pianum, te różne tajne struktury, czy quasi-tajne, które miały działać, podpowiadać papieżowi, wskazywać tych niebezpiecznych modernistów i tak dalej. Tam było szereg nadużyć, polegających na tym, że ta gorliwość, tak, rozlewała się bardzo i rzeczy, które tym modernizmem nie były, albo no, przynajmniej nadawały się do łatwego poprawienia, bardzo szybko wpadały jako właśnie straszne zagrożenie. Świetnym przykładem jest niestety ta część encykliki Pascendi, która mówi o studiach biblijnych. Tam jest, to jest wydaje mi się, że najsłabsza część tej encykliki, bo ona no, w tym pośpiesznym takim kreśleniu tego obrazu, tego niebezpieczeństwa właściwie postawiła tamę takiej, czy jakoś postawiła, może nie tamę, ale w krzywym zwierciadle, tak, trochę to wyszło, że wszelkie badania dotyczące pewnej historycznej ewolucji tekstu, tych form literackich i nakładania się różnych warstw redakcji ksiąg biblijnych, że to jest jakieś po prostu z punktu wyjścia zagrożenie. Prawda? Odkrycie, że na przykład księga nie jest autorstwa osoby, która jest podana w tytule księgi biblijnej, no nie jest to jakąś wielką herezją. Prawda?
Niekoniecznie Mojżesz każde zdanie sam
Bardzo
napisał.
dokładnie, tym bardziej, że niektóre ze zdań opowiadają o śmierci Mojżesza, więc no nie są jego redakcji. Więc to nie jest żaden przewrót.